Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So in today's video, we're going to be doing our updated Senate prediction for the month of July of 2025. So can Republicans hold the Senate in 2026? Can they expand their majority in the Senate as well if they're able to hold it? We're going to be filling out this map and seeing if that will possibly be the case here. So we're going to start off with the safe Republican states, the states that are going to go red by 10 points or more no matter what. So you have Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, and South Carolina, all in the safe Republican column. They will go red by 10 points or more, no matter what. Also, the state of Alaska and the state of Florida also belong in this column. So out of the gate, you have 48. So they're already nearing a majority. They need 2 more. If they get 50, J.D. Vance breaks the tie. Democrats need 51 for a majority. Now we'll fill out their safe states where they'll get a 10% victory margin or more: Oregon, Colorado, Illinois, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Delaware. That's it. They're only at 40. Now, that's not good for them. This is a midterm year where they're out of power. You have Donald Trump as president. Democrats have been energized. And even so, you have 12 relatively competitive Senate seats that we're going to fill out. But first, really quickly, I have to tell you guys about our great friends over at Allegiance Gold. While the media is obsessing about Trump's tariffs, something big is brewing and nobody's talking about it except right here. Because starting this month, under new Basel III international banking rules, gold will officially be reclassified as a Tier 1 asset, placing it on the same level as cash and U.S. Treasuries. Translation: gold is money again. Just in the first quarter, thousands of tons of gold were quietly moved back to the U.S. from Europe. Meanwhile, central banks around the globe are stockpiling gold at record levels. That's not a coincidence. That's a signal. So if the world's most powerful financial institutions are hoarding gold, why aren't you? Don't wait. Call Allegiance Gold, the trusted experts that I've partnered with that have the highest ratings and accolades. They will help you secure real physical gold and silver delivered straight to your home or placed securely inside your IRA or 401k. Go to allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191 and mention Red Eagle, and you could be eligible to receive up to $5,000 in free metals, but only if you act right now, because gold is freedom, gold is sovereignty, and starting this month, gold is officially money. So that's allegiancegold.com/redeagle or call 844-790-9191 today. All right, guys, back to the video. So we're now going to be filling out the likely states, the states that are going to go one way between 5 and 10 percentage points. We're going to start off on the Republican side. We'll then do the Democrat side. So Ohio, I believe John Husted, he could win by more than 10, but just erring on the side of caution, I think a 5 to 10 point win victory margin window is more than fair. I think he wins by closer to 10 than 5. And then Iowa, Joni Ernst. It's a little bit of a murky electorate in the state of Iowa. You have a lot of low propensity rural Trump voters that will show up in presidential years, maybe not as likely in a midterm year, even though they did show up in 2022 there more so than certain places like Wisconsin. You have a relatively competent party in the state of Iowa. Ernst is not that well liked overall. Democrats are probably going to target the seat. I think that Ernst is going to win, obviously, but is she going to win by Trump margins? As of right now, I don't think so. Time will tell. So already they're at 50, and I think it's important we fill out Texas as well. This is a state that Donald Trump won by 14 points. It's back to where it was in the pre-Trump years, even though it's a very different coalition. And what we know is that the state of Texas has this competitive primary on the Republican side between John Cornyn and Ken Paxton. Ken Paxton is more controversial. That part is true, but still, it's Texas, and he always manages to get by despite being controversial. I don't think that a Democrat is going to really come within 5 points. It might be a little bit closer with Paxton. In my opinion, it is worth the gamble. On the Democrat side, even though Republicans already have a majority +1, they will get New Mexico in the likely column, 5 to 10 points. If Republicans had an actual competent party there, maybe it would be a little bit different. Also, you have the state of New Jersey. I think you can make the case that that would be safe, but I think likely is fine. You have Virginia, where it is very likely that Mark Warner is going to be elected to another term. By how much is another question, but I think likely is fair. So already you have 6 toss-up races, or at least competitive, because they will either go in the lean column one way or another, or they will go in the tilt column. And we're going to start off with Maine. We're going to work our way down. So the state of Maine is interesting. It voted for Kamala Harris by 6 to 7 points. That part is true. However, they do have an independent streak. And Susan Collins, yes, largely a bit of a rhino. I think that a lot of people can agree with that. But Maine is Maine. You're not going to get a solid Republican senator there, and she's going to get the Republican backing. She'll also get some independent voters on board because they have that independent streak, and there's not really a high-profile Democrat that is running against Susan Collins. So as of right now, yeah, I think Collins is probably going to end up winning when it's all said and done in the state of Maine, and that's huge. Now we can go to New Hampshire, which is another state that has a little bit of an independent streak, kind of this New England phenomenon that we have. But I will say that Scott Brown is a very solid candidate on the Republican side. You also have Chris Pappas, a well-known Democrat, who's running on the Democrat side. It is an open seat. I think with Jeanne Shaheen running again, I think she would win probably convincingly, but I think it's going to be a very, very competitive race. I don't know how competitive. I think probably I would say like a 2 to 3 point Democrat win, but Scott Brown can very clearly win depending on how that race goes. I think the Democrats start off favored, but still you could make the case that Republicans could go out there and end up winning it at the end of the day. So we will move over to the state of Minnesota. And this is a state where the Republican Party is just relatively non-existent. The state is kind of, in a way, like a diet Illinois, because you have the Twin Cities that run it, kind of like how Illinois is run by Chicago. And you have the Democrats that are able to net hundreds of thousands of votes out of Hennepin County alone, no matter what. Yes, Republicans can run it up in the rurals. We understand that. The smaller metros, they're able to get decent vote totals. This is an open seat, but still, I would honestly think about moving this one to likely even, likely close to lean. Depending on the nominees, I think it could be closer. If you had like Tim Walz, or even if Ilhan Omar was their nominee for some reason, I'm not saying she will be, but if she was, yeah, I think that the seat possibly could even flip in that scenario, because you do have a lot of strange characters in the Minnesota Democrat Party, but still, regardless, I think that Republicans are not going to be able to win. I think Democrats win it convincingly. They'll find somebody to run for that seat. So that leaves us with 3 remaining Senate seats. We have Michigan, North Carolina, and Georgia. Michigan, we've seen some very interesting polling. There's very possibly going to be a very competitive Democratic primary in the state of Michigan. You have Haley Stevens, you have Abdul El Sayed, you have McMorrow, or whatever her name is. You have a lot of people in the mix, and it's a divided primary, and Republicans are relatively united behind Mike Rogers, even if it's like we'll just back him because he was the guy last time type of thing. I think the Democrats are probably going to start off as the favorites, but I think that Republicans could win it. And I think all 3 of these races could go either way depending on which candidate gets which nomination. I will say that because all 3 of them, with the exception of Georgia, are open seats, but it's very clear that Georgia's Republican primary is so wide open. If they can find a solid candidate there, I think they could actually win it, and I think they will actually win it. And that brings us to Georgia, because it's a midterm year. Georgia, in these special elections, for whatever it is, Republicans run it up, and they do it across the Deep South. They don't do it in other parts of the country. Democrats will cling to victories in Iowa in places they shouldn't win, or Pennsylvania. But Georgia, we've seen the opposite, as well for North Carolina. Jon Ossoff is extraordinarily overrated. He's overhyped. He won on a fluke. If Georgia had a normal election system in their general elections back in 2020, Jon Ossoff would not be senator right now. And he's going to be facing an electorate that probably is going to be a little bit more hostile to him than he's ever faced before. So you look at that, and then you have North Carolina. Roy Cooper may or may not be running. By the time this video comes out, he may have announced, for all we know. Regardless, I think that Thom Tillis being out of the way is a massive benefit for the Republicans. I really do. Because this is a guy who is not liked by any wing of the Republican Party. He's not liked by independents. He's not liked by Democrats. He has never gotten, I believe, 49% in an election before statewide. He's won on flukes. And I think that it's a good thing he's out of the picture. Now, Pat Harrigan, I think, would do very well. I think he would win the seat against Roy Cooper even by upwards of 2 points. I think Laura Trump would be interesting. I don't think she's going to run for it, but I think that that would make the race hinge on whether Donald Trump is seen as popular or not in North Carolina. But regardless, I think North Carolina itself, no matter who the nominee is, I think tilt R is fair, tilt Republican. I think Republicans would be favored. If you ran 100 simulations, yeah, I think they would win at least 51 of them, absolutely, as it stands right now. So 54 for the Republicans, 46 for the Democrats, and Republicans, at the end of the day, if this holds, would have a net gain in the Senate, and that would be absolutely huge. But again, you have three very competitive races in Michigan, North Carolina, and Georgia. Those will probably not determine the outcome of the Senate because I think Republicans will get Maine. They'll hold the safe red states. But what this will do is it possibly could determine the future, because if Republicans have a good 2028, they're inching closer to that magic number of 60, whereas the Democrats, if they have a good year and they hold the Republicans to 51 or 52, yeah, 2028, they would have a chance, an outside chance, but a chance of retaking the Senate. But I still don't think that that's going to happen as it stands now. So anyways, guys, make sure you guys like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle out.